Hi guys, this video will cover ACT35 English section. Okay, let's go to number 1. While music and politics are unusual career combinations, salsa singer Ruben has tightly interwoven the two. I don't see any problem with this because first of all, we don't know this is salsa singer is job title, so we don't put comma. And between subject and verb, we don't put comma either. And non as we can put that, and take it away. So Blaze music deals, which is music is singular, deals is fine, and everything else is plural. So Blaze, 1977, his song Pablo Pueblo is the subject, and then this is subject, and this is verb. And then in is unnecessary. So we need to have subject and verb. And, conversely, the song's popularity. So we have to find the relationship here. The story of man returning from work, hungry and tired and struggling to survive. And then the song popularity extended beyond Panama. So there's no converse, no contrast. And the similarity, I can't find anything. This is just like, meaning of additional information. Its lyrics resonated. So lyrics is subject and resonate is verb. So we need to have modifier. So it's it. And also song itself is singular. So we cannot say they, their. And then after series of military events called for reform. Way to believe this would. So right now, one subject that you can find is this one, right? This, and then another verb, and then subject, verb. So we have comma splice right now. So to prevent comma splice, we have to put something. So F is wrong. However, it's just adverbs. It doesn't work. So you have to choose between H and J. H, first of all, in front of which you have to put comma. Second of all, believing here J doesn't work because this is not, the clause form. And only when freed from then, yeah. So THAN doesn't work because there's no comparison, but alone, free from is better, so it's not alone. Given that all the choices are true, which one best concludes the paragraph and reaffirms Lee's belief in salsa consciente? It's J, because it's all about how he, like here, Blaze wrote songs denouncing the government violence and corruption and things like that is his position, and then how he explained in his music. So maybe topic sentence, you can take a look at it. Number 9. To inspire his fellow Panamanians, Blaze wrote songs that celebrated the beauty of his homeland. Yeah, that makes sense. Tense-wise, wrote past tense. That makes sense. Many now considering his songs Patria, second national anthem. Many now consider. There's no verb right now. Many subject. Now consider. So H. Song Patria Second national anthem. National anthem is one thing, so we don't need to put comma here. So we can eliminate all of them, but okay. The sense of pride in our country and in its people. We already have our country. Who is our? We don't know. It's a his country. Blade's country. And then the country's people. That's why it's is fine. 13. It's the sense of pride is subject. Right? And then verb is this one. So singular subject was. For the sake of logic and coherence of this paragraph, sentence 5 should be placed. Blade's music, however, wasn't always critical. So some opposite like meaning, not always critical. I think the first sentence, before first sentence, is good because the previous paragraph, it talks about how his music was critical, right? He talks about government and corruption and all. And then this paragraph, it changes mood to inspiring fellow Panamanians, and then write something that in the beauty of his country. So that perfectly makes sense. 15. Suppose the writer's goal had been to describe an election campaign in detail. Would this essay? No, nothing to do with the election campaign. This is more about the song itself. C. 16. At this point, the writer is considering adding the following accurate information. Each spring, North Atlantic right whales migrate from their winter habitat. In the waters off Georgia and Florida, should the writer make this addition? Yes, because later on around the Canada, right? Nova Scotia, Canada, and then winter habitat wasn't really specified, so specified as a Georgia and Florida sounds good. Yeah, this is the one. The F is wrong because near extinction is nothing to do with this one. 17, because right whales tend to stay close, yeah, to the shore. Stay is the verb that you need to have adjective, not like adverb. Risk for them, risk because right whale, risk for them of colliding. They are at risk of colliding, so G is better. The subject and verb should be placed, and we don't see any subject and verb. Independent clause we need, right? So near extinction, relapse means collapse and relapse. You actually you got sick and then you recovered and then you got sick again. That's a relapse. So near extinction and then got better is whatever you have to see. So recovered. The researcher's aim is to detect the presence of whales in shipping We already talked about the near extinction, so endangered is redundant, so that's why it's J. Then quickly alerting near, maybe, well, maybe, and then quickly alert. So because aim is to detect and alert, right? So the parallel structure. 22. Recently, International Energy Company and federal regulators has, that's wrong, plural, right? Company and regulators, so have funded. A group of scientists from the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution funded from, we shouldn't put comma because funded from is one idea, right? Funded from. We cannot, separate this out. And then this comma doesn't work either because if you have a comma in front of and, then we should have subject and verb as independent clause, but then we don't see any subject and verb after. So no comma either, so the B works. Sentence 3 should be. Sentence 3 talks about the researcher's aim is to detect and alert. Okay. Then we have to have researchers. Researchers supposed to introduce, which means here scientists from these two organizations. Then after 4 will be the answer for this one. Next one. Data from the hydrophones are transmitted via cables. Yeah, that's good. Through via same thing. Massachusetts Bay analysts at Cornell Lab monitor Bay during the month when so it has to be separated. Bay analysts at Cornell Lab monitor. Yeah, that's like subject and monitor. That's good. So then H. So we don't put comma between subject and verb. Less than A and B wrong because teach EN as we teach AM. So it's supposed to be C. If you say few as, then you have to have another as, but then because you're supposed to say less because less is not countable, few is countable, but then this is not countable. Because knots are speed, I mean, it's not something physical, things that you can count on. Slow-moving ship. Biologists are optimistic that having ships reduce speed for whale will alleviate this condition. Lessen this condition. Alleviate means lessen, prevent, regrettable. So it's going to be avert tragic collision. Yeah. Which means it's going to change it, right? So it's not about, it's happening right now and then it's going to do something about it. The writer is considering adding the following sentence to the essay. The cable is designed to stretch twice. So it's about the cable. So you have to find the cable somewhere. horse-like cable. Yeah, only C. B has a cable, so B is the answer. Suppose the writer's primary goal had been to explain the rate of success of recent project to protect the North Atlantic right whale population. Would this essay accomplish that goal? No. This is like more about the overall idea of how they can prevent success of recent project as well. Overall, yeah. H. Given that all the choices are true, which one serves as best transition between the preceding paragraph and this paragraph? Preceding paragraph, it ends with it talks about the ED Tar Road, ID Tar Road or whatever. Yeah. And then single moisture from the back of the outside. So let's see. Moisture is here, and then ID total is there too. 32. Despite her achievement through she. She is a new subject. Despite achievement through achievement. Achievement though. Okay. Not through though. It's supposed to be like this. So, despite her achievement though in this case, however, and then she, so the G. So new clause, and then this is just, though is just like adverb. Might be too dangerous for her. Might be too dangerous. No, nothing wrong. Because past tense of may is might. 34. Doris have been born with achromatopsia. Yes, this is that. Because it explains at the end. So the explanation has to be just comma. Right? That's what the positive is. Given that all the following statement true, which one, if added here, would most specifically elaborate on the effects of achromatopsia on Scodoris' eyesight? Specific elaboration. Yeah, something with the vision is only B. It says certain color, shapes, and depth. That's like the specific limits part. 36. Best placement for the underlined portion. And using two-way radio. Driving and using this guide. So there's nothing wrong with this. It's parallel structure. Being alone by yourself. Okay. Solo is being alone by herself, so simpler. Solo on her own is like, this is a repetitive idea. 38. The race lasted 12 to 16 hours a day. Beginning this, the race lasted so beginning doesn't have subject. Who begins is this person. Okay. After reaching Eagle Island, who reaches Eagle Island is this person. Then we have to have a comma instead of semicolon. So we cut it out, these two, and this one too. D doesn't have comma, so only B. Concluded with surprising rapidity. So it's like too wordy. Sounds weird. So it's J. Because it says take expert care of her dogs. So they just say stop and then, yeah, take care of dogs. Given all the choices true, which one provides the most relevant and specific transition into the last sentence of this paragraph? Decided that her dog health was more important than living this one. I don't see any problem because the next part, health condition, that they're talking about. So ill with the virus is connected to health. And then 42, her dog's health. Her dog's health. Nothing wrong with this. She has more than one dog. That's why she doesn't work. And everything else doesn't work either. Given that all the choices are true, which one most clearly suggests that it was particularly noteworthy accomplishment to complete the race in. So noteworthy accomplishment is something that you have to come up with. It should be B because it shows how hard it was. Okay, even that harsh conditions she made it. Given that all the choices are true, which one most effectively conclude the essay? She completed the race again, securing her status at the age of 24 as experienced IDK road racer. Yeah, nothing wrong with this. She completed this. That's all that matters. Suppose the writer's prime goal present Mosher's reflection on the difficulty of racing. No, this is just experience of this person's, like, racing itself, not like, reflection on difficulty itself. So, yeah, participation is the one that it talks about. And then 46. Dog races, which means present tense. And several sheep have broke. There's no such thing as a have broken. It has to be have broken, but then there's no option for this. I mean, also, sheep itself is plural, so that's why you cannot put has. And also, there's no such thing as a break it. So it has to be broke or broke. Yeah, broke, break, or have broken. Then there are no other options that you can choose in the J. Deleting. Look back. The shepherd called the dogs whirled back to the round up the errant ship. Then shepherd shouts more commands. Yeah, we have to keep it because it connects. Yeah. So there's more commands too later on. So one command, look back, and then more commands. Then shepherd shouts more commands. Shepherd shouts more commands. This is comma splicer. The dog move to prevent comma splice. Yeah, as sounds good. Everything else is comma splice. I mean, G is fragment. Fragment doesn't work in there. Which choice most vividly captures the energy of dog's movement? Energy. C. Start, darts, circle around the flock. So how, like, energetic the dog was. It's moving around and doing all different things. Keeping the sheep in the controlled group, they are driven across the pasture. They know who actually doing sheep keeping is the dog. So dog has to be subject. So either G or J. And then dog drive them, or was driving them, or drives them, because this is present tense. Given that all the choices are true, which one provides material most relevant to the paragraph's focus? Paragraph's focus, the border collie. It has to be explained about, border collie itself. Especially in this part, there's more about sheep herding, so it has to be C. 52 emerged along the borders of England, Scotland, and Wales. Similarly, the Industrial Revolution increased. So this is another clause, right? Similarly. When, more specific idea that it connects to the time period here. 53, this breed was quick and agile, woven by, trained, well suited. So, woven is like, weaved, basically. That doesn't make sense. This medium-sized dog socialized well with other breeds of dog. Best serve as transition. Next sentence. So, next sentence, rather than barking and this. So barking and everything is the one that, has to be connected to previous sentence, which means agitation, agitating, so J. And today, border collies herd sheep in much the same way as your ancestor. Your ancestor doesn't make sense. So why my ancestor, right? Border collies ancestors, so their ancestors. Next, the dog drives the gathered flock toward specific location. Next, the dog drives the gathered flock toward, yeah, that's okay. Gather, drive, flock toward specific location. Okay, finally guiding a smaller group of sheep through gate and into pen, but there is no subject, right? Subject and verb we need. So the dog guides, subject and verb. Through a gate and into Just like guide through is one word, one like the meaning, so we cannot put any comma, we cannot put separation. 59. Normally require tasks that normally require the work of 3 people. Nothing wrong with this. Tasks that normally require. Require is the one that describes a lot, yeah. And 60. Highly intelligent, energetic border collies are being considered by many farmers and ranchers. Being considered, are considered, which is G. Being is not necessary for anything. Are considered. Yeah. When my parents were both professional photographers, gave me what? Then this verb is kind of weird. So this, my parents are subject, so you have to put something between the parents. Yeah, there's a comma, so we have to have a comma in front of it. My parents, and then this. Yeah. Which choice most effectively completes the sentence and uses sarcasm to emphasize that the photos named in the sentence were artistically speaking unsuccessful. Unsuccessful is the one that we should pay attention to. Just a few of my masterpieces. Yeah. I mean, J doesn't make sense because like it's using the sarcasm, right? So then you straight to like not very good photos that there's no like sarcasm that you can find. Determined to improve, I diligently adhere to every photographic rules my parents taught me, such as after such as we don't put anything, but then there's no other option. So this is wrong. For example, this is comma splice. For example, it's not a conjunction. After semicolon, then you have to use the complete clause, but then there's no complete clause, so that's why it's D. Remember to position your main subject by using the rule of the thirds. Nothing wrong with this. Your main subject by using. You shouldn't have any comma because using it, I mean, this next one is object of using, so then we don't put comma between. And 65, the writer wants to emphasize the narrator is repeating information she had learned from her mother. Which choice most effectively accomplishes this goal? Learned from mother. And this rule that I express my love to my mother actually don't actually stay confident and care back. You see, it's like copying the mother. Just trust me, she said. Skeptically, I waited. She said, skeptically, just trust me. Skeptically, I waited. There's nothing wrong. Because, trust me, she said is one sentence, and skeptically, I waited. That's another sentence. So we don't need to put together. Then it becomes comma splice. Instead of answering my questions, she simply smiled and goes. Smiled and goes doesn't make sense. Smiled is past tense, then you have to have past tense. Murmured. Yeah. The writer wants to divide this paragraph into two in order to separate the list of photographic rules from, okay. So something that we think about is where you can find different rules. A, remember the position. B, it was last rule. C, just trust me. Yeah, it has to be B because um, this is one rule previously and then another rule next. And 69, when I saw the print, do these, and then instead. So it's kind of opposite. Right? They were far from the blurry shadow, and then instead the setting of sun behind them made a soft halo. So that's not, it's sort of like opposite. This effect my mother explained was this effect, which is halo. That makes sense. Effect. And then my mother explained is two commas around. So this effect was result of, that makes sense. 71 result of two techniques called, so next one called backlighting and flash field is not, complete sentence. So fragment with to connect it to. So comma cold will be best way to put. But she'd had prevented. This is would or had apostrophe D means. So if you think about it, would had prevented, that doesn't make sense. Then we shouldn't put had again. This is just like had prevented. So she had prevented, that doesn't make sense. That's what I'm saying. Using electronic flash to radiate my face. Radiate is not the right word. Illuminate, which is showing the light to. And in front of me yielded a portrait that perfectly captured. If you want to put that, we don't put comma in front, and after that is portrait, that is described by captured, and then we don't put comma either, so no comma whatsoever. Suppose the writer's goal had been to illustrate the producing the professional quality of the photographer as following a few simple rules. Does this essay? No, this is nothing to do with the professional, degree. This is like this person's like attempt. So see, a few simple rules. That's what mom taught him to follow, and then he got the good results. Okay, this is it for English section, and I'll come back with math section soon.